You know what I miss about being a kid?
What's that?
Building forts.
Oh, dude.
I don't even necessarily mean like going out with like saws and hammers because I didn't do any of that.
No.
Well, at your house, you'd take chairs, you'd take blankets.
Yeah.
Build forts. Maybe you'd go outside and try and find some wood, something in the woods there, and try and build some kind of makeshift fort. But the forts you build at your house were the best.
You're talking about inside or outside?
The inside.
Outside.
No, the inside house.
The inside ones,
forts with blankets and chairs
use like
and all that.
You use the couch cushions? Dude, those are some sturdy shits.
I did it a little bit when my kids were young, too. I would help them build forts, and I'd be so excited to build this fort.
Nice, yeah. It's kind of funny, like our mutual friend Jimmy, me and him had built a fort on the side of his house outside. We found like this wood, and we found a piece of plywood, and we also found like this, I don't know, like a steel rod or something. Anyway, we stuck it in the ground, and then I think it was part of a frame. So we had it coming off the house, and so the plywood was the roof. Okay, so we had this roof, and it was sturdy enough for us to stand on top of. That's how strong it was. And then we made like walls and everything, and then it was even on the side of the house where a spigot was. So we had like running water, and we dug like a small hole and put a trash bag in it. So we had a sink. And what we used it for, I have no idea. I don't know. And that's where remember I referred to earlier, we had found that Playboy magazine in the woods.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Your Playboy magazine.
In our little fort, we had hung up pictures out of the Playboy on the walls and there and everything.
Looked like a construction site or something.
Yeah. But you know, like me and my younger sister, we used to do that in the summers at my dad's. We used to, outside we used like, not that they used a clothesline, but there was a clothing line outside.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we draped blankets over top of. And then we had blankets on the ground, and like we even like spent the night out there. I found like old pictures of us like doing that and stuff back then. It was awesome.
That's cool. It was awesome, man. Just building forts. Used to try and build like, I'd take some string, some of this, some of that, and try and build like a mouse trap. Not that we even had mice at my house or anything, but I would try to build like a mouse trap, or try and build something that would, have a reaction where this would do this, and you'd have it all crazy in your head, but what you would build would be total shit. It was fun anyway.
You're listening to Your 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Well, welcome to Your 40, Now What? I'm one of your hosts. My name is Tach.
I'm Ron.
And this is episode number 7, I think. I'm turning into Adam slowly. Welcome to episode 7. So, if this is your first time listening to us, what we do is we're 41-year-olds, and we talk about the trials and tribulations and the lighter side of being in your 40s.
Yes.
So with that, we have a few topics to discuss today. I believe our first topic, I'd like to talk about some hobbies.
Hobbies. Yes.
Hobbies.
Yes.
Yes, quite.
Very good.
So, okay, we had hobbies written down. I think you brought that topic to the show, yeah?
I did.
Now, what did you mean by hobby? You mean like kid hobbies versus today's hobbies? Is that what it was?
I was thinking more of hobbies when we were young adults.
Oh, okay.
Like what we did to pass the time, what we were into versus the things that we get into now. And as guys, most guys anyway, we jump from thing to thing to thing. This is what I think most guys seem to do.
I have too many hobbies,
you're
for
into
sure.
that, then you're into this, then maybe even go back to that. It's just all this kind of progression through your adulthood of your hobbies. Because when you're a small kid, the hobbies are pretty much whatever you have access to or whatever toys your parents got you.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have the freedom of choice, but you get older and all of a sudden you have freedom of choice to go do this, that, or the other.
Yeah, if you talk about hobbies we had in our 20s, I mean, does going to the titty bar count?
Dude, I was literally thinking going to that. I think what that was is that was time we were spending that we could have been doing perhaps hobbies, even productive hobbies. We could have been the first ever podcasters if we hadn't been going to the strip club.
I feel that in your 20s is probably the time in your life where you're not doing as many hobbies. You're doing more of like going out and experiencing life for the first time on your own. I think hobbies kind of get pushed to the side. I think, at least that's how I think it was for me. I still, like back then, I still did a lot of guitar playing and stuff like that. Like that was probably my main hobby through my 20s was playing music and all that. What about you?
That's the thing. I didn't have a lot of hobbies I definitely played a lot more video games.
Yeah.
I'd almost say that. I mean, I don't know if you consider video games a hobby.
Yeah, of course it is.
I always had this thing in my 20s and maybe even early 30s. I was always trying these get-rich-quick schemes.
Oh, yeah.
You're
one of those friends.
I was one of those, man, for a while.
This other couple I know, they're always got some new scheme coming up. And I'm always getting invited over to talk about Herbalife or to talk about some other get-rich pyramid, like come join us and be a distributor, and I make this much if you sign on kind of crap. And I'm just like... No.
It's not pyramid. It's multi-level marketing. Ass. I'm just kidding.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
And then it's like one person on top.
It's not the same thing.
Pyramid doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
It does. Actually, pyramid does mean it's bad. That's why it's not the same thing. But anyway, I don't do those things anymore. This is not a commercial for Amway, I promise you. One of Amway is another one I did a couple times. But yeah, I'd say there was a lot of that. Probably now that I think about it, that if I took away video games and working, probably get rich quick schemes was my main hobby in my 20s.
Well, like you said, you don't know if like video games is a hobby. I say the definition of a hobby to me is something that you enjoy and costs money.
That's a good
to
point.
me is a hobby.
Yeah,
so like hooking up with chicks, not a hobby. Getting a prostitute, it's a hobby.
Because it costs money and you enjoy it. Very good. I see where you're going.
Not that I have any experience, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, guitar playing seemed to be a very common hobby. Surfing, things like that seemed to be common hobbies for people when we were in our 20s. I knew a lot of people that surfed a lot then, and
our geographical area.
People would be into cars. They'd souping up their cars. That would be, somebody's hobby.
I never got into that.
Most of those things, when you get into your 40s, aren't your hobbies anymore. What are more common hobbies? Podcasting for us, obviously.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's definitely our age is podcasting.
I think our hobbies become less activity and more creation as we get older.
I've always been huge into creating, but the ability to create wasn't as easily it is now as it was when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, good point.
Like I loved like music production and I loved like filmmaking, but it wasn't as accessible and easily done and well done back when we were in our 20s as it is now.
Well, did you experiment with any of it back then?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't recall you even making a mention of being interested in that. You didn't invite me to any of your movie productions when you were 20 something.
Well, it was mostly when I was in the Navy. Like there was one like in the late 90s, me and my friends when I was in the Navy, we wanted to shoot this movie. And we're like, and all I had was, remember back in the day, those old video cameras that had the VHS tape inside.
Yeah, I still
that's
have
all
one
I had
around the house somewhere.
Yeah, and I was like, we're gonna shoot a movie with this thing, and then as far as editing goes, like we'd have to have 2 VCRs side by side, and like one being the master film, and then you pick your take or whatever your clip, and then you'd have to record it over to the other one.
Oh my God.
That's how it would have had to been done. Which we never ended up shooting it, but we talked about it. We got the good story out. We had, and then as far as doing audio, I was gonna buy a microphone because it had a microphone plug-in into the camera and get it like on a boom and all that. It would have looked like shit and horrible, but it would have been my first movie. But I never got it done.
But since
now
then,
technology is so much better,
right? I mean, since then you've made some movies, some short films, or some commercials. You're doing the cartoon thing right now, so you definitely are following through. Is that also probably, in your opinion, we follow through more on our hobbies as we get older than we did when we were 20? They were more just pipe dreams, and then as we get older, we figure out ways to make them happen. Plus, like you said, technology does as well.
Yeah, it's mostly, I think, has to do with technology. At least me specifically, technology has gotten so much better, and this is a great time to be into like filmmaking and any kind of creative content. Really, is just so much easier now. It can be done so much cheaper, and I love it. It's a great time to be alive.
It's a great time to be alive. Embrace the technology.
Indeed. What about? Did you get into any? You were into some sports, right? You played tennis, I think?
I definitely played a lot of tennis. I actually forgot about sports angle. Yeah, I definitely played a ton of tennis. And then as I got into late 20s and 30s, well, I'd say more mid-20s. No, maybe even really... Okay, I keep going back. Now, I guess I really started playing basketball. I played tennis in high school. I played football in high school. And then I started playing a lot of basketball in my early 20s. When I started dating my wife... She was friends with a girl named Lisa, Lisa's fiance at the time, or boyfriend, whatever. His name was Keith. So me and him have been tight ever since because we both liked the Miami Dolphins and all that stuff. So we had a lot of common interests. We actually both went to the same high school and graduated the same year and never met each other. Don't remember each other.
That's crazy.
And we were actually sat 4 seats away from each other at graduation. And we still don't remember.
What's Keith? Well, I don't want to give names away, but what was the first letter of his last name?
Infinger.
What? Oh, that was his name.
Yes, it was.
So what's that letter? Is it I?
E.
Oh,
so he was big into basketball, and I told him, I was a decent shooter, but I wasn't really good at any other aspect of basketball. So we started going to the rec center, like all the time. We would go to the rec center and play, and he started teaching me how to do, zone defense and all this stuff. So I started getting a lot better at basketball. So I kind of kept the basketball thing going till mid-30s, and my knees took a total shit there in the early to mid-30s. They really did.
Damn.
And this wasn't like a weight thing. I was 170 pounds. You know what I mean? It's just I have a really bad patellar tendonitis, more old people shit, blah, blah, blah. Actually, that happened to me at a much younger age than probably many others. It's just bad luck there. So I really couldn't play basketball anymore. In fact, that's about the only sport I still can't play. It's all the jumping. It's called jumper's knee. It probably was caused from all the basketball. And I can still play tennis, although I don't very often. I can still play tennis, but yeah, man, when I was younger, tennis was like... When I was in high school, tennis was pretty much my main hobby. And I even played some into my early 20s, and then I'll dibble and dabble here and there if I find somebody to hit with for cool. Show.
The only sport when I was in high school, I tried the swim team for a short time. It was not very long. But the only other sport I really enjoy playing is, aside from just going down and shooting hoops or whatever, not like play, but was like, especially now, is like golf. Like, I love to play golf. I haven't played golf since the last time you, me, and Jimmy went, which was, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I've played once since then. Tiger Woods, that got me into golf. Tiger Woods definitely got me, inspired to try golf.
You guys were hanging out?
Oh, yeah. He came to me. He's like, Ron, you got to check out this sport, man. I'm making a couple bucks at it. You got to give it a shot. And I was like, bro, you're wasting your time with that shit. You ain't going to go nowhere.
It's kind of funny.
But
I meant to bring this up last time we were talking about Tiger Woods, but when I was probably like a year and a half ago or whatever, I was playing golf a lot more. And so I became obsessed, just like every other golfer out in the world. I'm trying to get the best stroke.
Yeah, I was that way for a while too. Now I just don't care.
Which that's the whole point of golf. People playing 60 years, they never get it.
Oh, for sure.
But so there was I was watching this one video on it, and they have this computer model that shows what the perfect swing should look like, and you can put it up against the video of yourself, and you can see where you're messing up and stuff like that. And so the only person they found that exactly matches that computer model is Tiger Woods. His swing and everything was exactly like the computer model. And they were like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like they couldn't believe it.
That's why he is or was really good at golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, golf, I definitely had a little obsession there. I'd say that was like probably late 20s. I started like getting crazy obsessed, like, oh my God, golf. Dude, I get that way. I think I don't have OCD, but I definitely think I have some compulsions for sure, because I get compulsive about shit if it catches me right. And I can't stop thinking about it until I, finally burn myself out on it and do something else.
Yeah, we definitely got to get back out there again, man.
Oh, for sure, man. But it's getting into the summertime now. That heat will kill you. It's cheaper.
Ugh. But we still got cold days here. Or not cold days.
We're in Florida, by the way, if anybody didn't know. So golf it's not like golf up north or South Carolina where it gets really expensive during the summer and everybody wants to go. In Florida, no one's golfing except for a few locals, and it's so hot. And you could go to a course that maybe during the wintertime, it would cost you $60-$70 or something. You can find those courses for like $25 for 18 holes during the summer. The same course. Because it's so hot, there's no snowbirds down, so they're just trying to get some people out on the course.
Well, the best time of year is obviously spring or fall. That's the best time to go.
Yeah, if you catch it like late, so after summer to early fall before... it's pretty much the time change is when the prices change. So if you catch it late fall where it's not 95 degrees anymore, or I shouldn't say late fall. Yeah, maybe like right before the time change, like October, you could still catch some summer rates, but it's not balls hot.
Yeah,
yeah, that's really the time to go.
Yeah, see, I don't get like I burn easily. I'm fair skinned, so I burn quite easily. And every time I go play golf, like, especially if it's super hot out, a lot of times, especially by the time we're on like the back nine, I'm hot. I'm maybe even cranky a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe even a headache already started setting in.
Could be a bit hangry.
Getting sunburned. I put like 20 applications of sunscreen on already. And but overall, I'm still having fun, even though I may come across as cranky. And then my head hurts because, like, dehydration is, I have a headache from being out in the sun for hours. You're out for like 4 hours, takes like 18 holes.
It's just the sweltering heat, dude. Sweltering. Yeah. Ugh, it's horrible. I just don't even know if I can do it this summer. I did it once last summer, and I was just like, felt like I was going to die.
Yeah, like when the last time when me and Jimmy went out, like I got to that point, especially on the back nine, I was just like starting to get frustrated.
Yeah, you were struggling, brother. You were struggling.
Yeah, mostly because I was playing like shit. Like, that was the worst I ever played. And at that time, I was noticing I was getting worse and worse with every game I played. And that time was just like, I'm not even coming close at all now. Like, I used to be able to at least hit straight and not slice it or whatever, And then so it got frustrating that. Mixed with being in the sun, my headache was setting in. I needed some more water. I just was like, I didn't like ruin the day, or like I wasn't like, fuck you, But I finally like chilled out and was like, all right, relax, let's just play, let's just have. And I went, so then I continued on, obviously, but inside I was battling demons.
Yeah, but see, that's also a difference too. When, let's say, take it sports for instance. In my 20s, when I would do bad at something, I would get so pissed. And now I'm just like, I'm not happy when I do bad, but I'm just like, be aight.
I wasn't getting pissed so much, but
frustrated.
Yeah, just only because I feel like I'm doing worse.
Golf will do that to you, brother. Golf will do that to you. You get off on something there, and it's just like you can't. You just get into like a block, and you're done. All right, man. Well, you ready? You got any more to go on about this, or do you think we take a break?
I'm sure, but I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Well, we can always revisit this subject.
Definitely. I'm sure we definitely
in a
will.
future episode. Perhaps episode 11 or 14 or 12. Oh, sorry.
Maybe even 23?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back, guys.
Haley is bored. Bored with life and endlessly looking for a purpose and her place in the universe. She knows there's more out there than working 9 to 5. She never imagined going on one job interview would change everything and open doors she never knew existed. Ancient family journals, 2 friends, and an irresistible bloodlust to deal with. Turns out being a vampire isn't as sexy as she thought it would be. Between the monster, late-night bloodbaths, and a vengeful ex-love of her man, it keeps her busy. But it doesn't have to be this way. Does it? Should she live free and forever without responsibilities? Or will she find the direction she's been looking for? One thing she does know is that she will fight for what she wants and create the perfect life without traditional vampire restrictions. And she won't let anyone or anything get in her way. Order your copy of the novel First Generation Book 1 by Zoe Emerson on Amazon. Available on paperback and Kindle. For more information, go to zoeemerson.com.
All right, guys, we are back. Guys and gals, we're back. And we are going to talk about a little article I found here. And I'll be honest with you, I just kind of scrolled through it a bit. It's 40 things that happen when you turn 40. I'm not going to read every minute of this or every word of this article, because then the segment would be like 40 minutes. Because I read slow.
Right, no, yeah.
But I'm just going to...
I'm sure there's like a headline for each one.
Yeah, I'm just going to take you through the 40, and maybe we'll elaborate on a few here. Maybe see if we agree, disagree, see what they're talking about. All right, so the first one they have listed is hair. And it says, not head hair. We all know what that was, thin and go drab, lifeless and eventually fall out. No, what we hadn't anticipated was the sprouting of pokey chin hairs, invisible. Well, I think that sounds more like for a woman. I already had pokey chin hairs. I just shave them.
I have tons of pokey chin hairs.
No, I know. This one I can relate to. I don't like it at all. You buy embarrassing ointments. I hate to say it, but being kind of...
I have yet to do that.
Being kind of fat and chafy-ish, homeboy gots to have the ointments.
No, I get like the chafing thing. Like I've had that. I call it diaper rash.
It is really, in a way, diaper rash. It's also more popularly known in the adult world as swamp ass. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about swamp ass. I wanted to give you a quick public service announcement. Swamp ass is preventable with A&D ointment. Yes. A&D ointment, you lather it on when anticipating any situations where swamp ass may be prevalent.
What I do is, like, where my most prevalent time is going to like Disney or something like that for the day.
Yes.
So what I do, I wear like the spandex bicycle shorts and nothing else. No, I wear that underneath my shorts or whatever I wear, and that's my theme park underwear.
That's a good idea.
That's the whole reason. I'm always trying
to. Like, this is really getting into some personal shit here. I'm always trying to find underwear. I always wear boxer briefs.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to find everything that just tucks and holds every little crevice and crook and nanny, and but then sometimes they cause the issue. So really, anyway, ointments. We're moving on before people turn this off.
Okay.
This one says, it's okay to change how you use Facebook. I don't really care about that. Okay, I like this one. You make an oof noise when you're getting up. Ugh.
Those are called dad noises.
Yeah, I make dad noises more like grunting when I'm getting up out of the chair, when I'm walking around. Yeah. My new thing now is my left foot. When I first start walking, if I have been sitting for a while or laying down, doesn't just really want to work for like 10 seconds. It's kind of like, oh, what's going on here? Just start getting aches and pains.
Oh, man.
Radiators are now a thing. I don't know what they're talking about, so let's see. They need to be bled frequently. You covet a little gas. I have no idea what that's talking about there. I don't care. When was
this article written?
You are no longer I don't know. You are no longer a mademoiselle. I never was. Stop popping stuff up on the screen. Okay. Turning off lights becomes an obsession. For me, it does. apparently
Yeah.
not for
I'm
other
big about turning
people
lights off.
who I know around these parts that have turned 40.
Yeah. I'm always like, turn the kitchen off. You were just
it's like,
in there.
why do these lights need to be on? You argue.
As soon as they sit down, I'm like, kitchen.
You argue with young people about wearing coats. Well, if young people are my kids, then yes. Well, my son, really. He'll try and go out in like 45-degree weather with shorts and a T-shirt. He doesn't want to wear a coat, doesn't want to wear pants.
My daughter is the complete opposite. It'll be 90 degrees out and she'll have a jacket on.
That's Chelsea.
Like, why are you wearing a jacket? It's like 90 degrees
She
out.
wears her jacket, her long sleeves, and her long pants to school every day, whether it's 40 or 90. Every single day. That's the way she dresses. I don't get it. Worrying endlessly. I think I kind of almost do less worrying now than I used to when I was young.
I'm big there. Like I have anxiety issues, so I always worry about everything. So
let's see here. You have contradictory hygiene standards. Here, I'll read it. Expressing revulsion at the sight of anyone grabbing orange juice from the fridge and slurping straight from the carton, yet allowing your pets to sleep on the bed.
I don't think that's a 40-year-old issue. I think, I was doing that at 20. So.
Nice. I've gotten obsessed with washing my hands. And my hands are really starting to dry out because of it. Because I'm washing my hands like 10, 15 times a day. And I never used to be a big hand washer. Now I'm always washing my hands. And I need to get some good hand cream.
No, I'm big on lotion because I have dry skin. But like at work, I'm constantly, because I'm a cook, so I'm constantly doing this, constantly washing my hands, constantly doing dishes. And my hands get dry as hell at work. And I always have to put lotion on. Like that's my go-to thing after showers. I put lotion on.
That's hot.
I just have to.
I put A&D ointment, as we discussed earlier. Comfort is the number one factor when selecting footwear.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. You actually make and keep health appointments. We actually talked about that.
Do what?
You actually make and keep health appointments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're still not there, buddy.
No, I'm not there.
Nothing's really pushed you into that. I had to be pushed into that with health issues myself. Pubs aren't for standing. You point blank refuse to enter a boozer unless a seat and table can be guaranteed, and then spend the evening making remarks about young people drinking Alco Pops. What are those?
I have no idea.
We're gonna remind me to look up Alco Pops after we go through this.
I can look it up right
people,
now.
If anybody who's not 40 is listening to this, or people who are 40 and are still living the 20 lifestyle, I guess you're laughing at us right now. I've never heard of an Alco Pop. I'm gonna assume it's like a frozen alcohol ice cube kind of thing that you put a stick in.
No idea.
I've never heard of that before. Even though no one has used the term since the Great Two Dogs Alcoholic Lemonade Rush of 1995. Okay, apparently it's an old term that we should have known already.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here.
Hangovers. Of the sort no bacon, sarnie, or can of full-fat Coke can even put a dent in. What is bacon sarnie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't think you were paying attention to me.
I wasn't. I was trying to read this list as we discussed in the
because you were
segment.
talking about Alco Pop. I was like, I got to pull it up right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
And you were
go
like,
ahead.
Anyway, and I was like, well, do you want to hear what it is? And then you just kept moving on.
I didn't hear you say that. Continue, sir. What is an Alco Pop?
You'll hear it when you listen to the show. It's funny. An Alco Pop, or cooler, spirit cooler in South African English, or alternative in American slang, is a term describing a certain flavored alcoholic beverage with relatively low alcohol content, including malt beverages to which various fruit juices and other flavorings have been added. So it's, I don't know, I guess it's like
it's frozen alcohol, pretty much.
Boone's Farm.
Yeah, it's what we thought. It's what it sounds like, I guess.
Yeah, I've never heard the term Alco Pop though. Maybe it's is this article like an English article?
Yeah, it is actually.
So I think it might be more of an English term. But
good catch, governor. It says, you scatter seeds on food as if that will undo all the damage we inflicted upon ourselves in previous decades. Scatter seeds on food? I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
That sounds really dirty.
Does it?
I definitely don't do that.
I don't know what that even means.
Jerk off
you
in a
develop
hamburger?
an obsession with... Man, this must be a weird UK article. Loose. L-O-O-S?
L-O-O-S?
That's what it says, right?
Use it in a sentence.
Loose. Okay, it says you develop an obsession with loose. That's the sentence. Let's hear the description. After all, you don't know where the next one might be when you're out and about. Always have an insurance P whenever you spot a convenience, just in case. Okay, so I'm assuming this is something to do with making sure you pee any given opportunity.
Oh, you're talking about lose.
Oh, it says
lose.
I said LOOS.
Yeah, but I didn't realize until I see it.
What does that
now
mean?
I'm hearing
Lose.
bathroom. Yeah, like a loo. I gotta go to the
lose. I always thought it was spelled like LOUS, like a person.
Gotcha.
Fringes. Yeah. Fringes are your friend. A curtain of hair that hides a quarter of your sagging face. Sold. Oh, okay. Next time I should preview these a little better before we bring them on the show.
No, it's good.
But it's still
We're
fun.
Good.
You still say the charts or even the hit parade. I don't think I ever said that. Must be another English thing. That's probably like top 40 shit, I'm assuming.
What is it saying?
The charts. I'm assuming they're talking about music. Yeah. Oh, it's number 3 on the charts.
Yeah.
You suffix your sentences with these days. Okay, yeah, these days. You have jowls. Accept them and give up stretching your face back with your hands in the mirror to recall what you look like as a younger person. Grammar is a source of rage. A misplaced apostrophe can see you muttering for half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you.
But I've always been that way.
That's you. If school letters come home misspelt, you become I can't say this word, with anger and have to be claimed with wine. Calmed with wine. God, I can really read, can't I? Let's see here. Shots are never a good idea. Oh, God, not for me anymore. I can't really drink liquor anymore. It gets me all hot. Not hot as in horny. Just like literally hot. You care deeply about litter. Yeah, I don't really care deeply about litter. Pleather is not for you. Never was. You notice your feet. I always did. You cry at everything. No, I cry way less now.
No, I haven't cried in years, I think.
Yeah. Spontaneity is dead. Yeah, I'd go with that. You have to eat better and exercise. Yeah, I have to. I don't, but I have to.
Yeah.
You have found your underwear soulmate. We were just talking about that, really. That goes back to the ointment.
Underwear. You found your underwear soulmate?
That's what it says. And you're sticking to it. Life's too short to trawl the shops for bras and knickers. Bras and knickers. Maybe I should just read the rest of this in an English accent.
Yes.
Your kids' social lives are livelier than yours. And you're fine with that.
Yes.
Eyes
well done.
are weird. One starts to shrink while the other mysteriously remains the correct size. You buy multiples, finding it so hard to track down clothes which suit and fit. That's when you do finally discover the one perfect thing. You buy it in multiples of 7 colors.
Yes, of course. I found a nice suited fit, and I bought it in 7 colors.
7 different colors.
Yes, quite. Yes.
You're never going to learn Spanish.
Oh, I still want to learn Spanish.
You're never going to, it says. Number 39.
The article said so. I guess
it's best just to accept it and stop saying gracias to the staff in the local tapas restaurant.
Yeah, that's just pretentious.
Acceptance is lovely. That your parents, far from being heinous curmudgeons, did I say it right? Curmudgeons, muggles, intent on wrecking your life, were actually pretty decent types who just tried to do their best. Yeah, that's some of that stuff on that list is acceptable. Some of it I really don't know what they're talking about. Part of it refers more to women. A lot of it refers to people in England, apparently, who have a different thought of being 40 than we do. Maybe we need to interview some people from England who are in their
Helen
40s.
Mirren would love this list.
Who?
So, Helen Mirren.
Who is that?
An older English actress.
I've never heard of her in my life. Maybe give me like an Emily Blunt or something I can relate to here.
All right.
I heard Emily Blunt's going to be Mary Poppins.
Love this article. Huh?
I heard Emily Blunt's going to be Mary Poppins in a new Mary Poppins movie.
Oh, nice.
Let's IMDb that, because I don't like giving out incorrect information. And then I wanted to do a follow-up on the Roadrunner before we end this segment.
Oh.
Remember? We were talking about that last episode?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, our listeners probably don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'll explain a bit, and then they could go back and listen to the last episode. Let's see here. All filmography for Emily Blunt. Upcoming projects. Mary Poppins Returns.
Ooh.
Yep, it's right in there. I don't know why it's not loading, though. Can't seem to load it. But it says Mary Poppins Returns 2018. Animal Crackers, My Little Pony, the movie. Nice.
Did you say My Little Pony, the movie?
Yes, My Little
Live
Pony,
action?
the movie. What?
Live action?
Good question.
I
It doesn't
hope not.
look like it. That would be interesting, but it doesn't. It doesn't look like it. It's got a decent cast there. It's got Emily Blunt, Zoe Saldana. That's the new Uhura, correct? Michael Peña's, who's in everything now.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so. All right, so Roadrunner Coyote. I failed to find this so-called, what I thought was the last episode, where I thought that Roadrunner finally kind of ended Coyote under a big rock, and it stated that the Acme products were all CEO. I'm sorry, the Acme products were all from Roadrunner, and he was the CEO of Acme. But I did find many fan theories on that on the internet, but nothing I could solidify with any kind of actual show clip. Right. So maybe it was something I imagined. I wish I still had this tape. I would try and play it, but I don't have the tape. I don't remember what the episode is. If I ever see the episode again, I don't know. I wasn't going through every single Wile E. Coyote episode on the internet trying to find it, but every time I try to put in,
find it if you remember like a certain something that specific that happened in the episode.
I guess I didn't try that. I mean, I tried to recall a bit of that. I really couldn't. What I kept finding was when I would punch in last episode, I kept finding an episode where it appears that the coyote caught the Roadrunner, actually blew him up. He turned instantly into a little turkey, and he grabbed a fork, a knife, and a napkin, put it around his neck, and went to eat him. And I saw that multiple times. Now, I couldn't figure out if that was a real episode or something, because nowadays people are good enough to create just about anything.
Yeah.
So what's real and what's fake, which is tough for us to find out, and definitely tough for our president to figure out as well. It can be a struggle sometimes to know what is real and what is not.
God.
But anyway, anything else you'd like to add to this topic, sir? Because I pretty much spent the whole time talking and reading the article.
Well, I sent you that the coyote episode that's done with computer animation.
Yes, that was awesome. That was really good. Like really, really good.
I don't know if that's like the new Warner Brothers thing that they're doing, or I'm kind of like not in tune with it, even though I should know. But for all I know, that thing could be how they do
You're
it
not
now. Or
in tune with it. Nice. I see what you did there.
Did there on accident?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you and I still have all of our hair.
You know what? Yes, I still have the hair. Now it's starting to gray a bit. I mean, it's not super noticeable yet, but every time as I brush and as I look closely, like I'm feeling in 5 years, like 3 to 5 years, you're going to be noticeable. Now we have a friend of ours who became noticeable quite early.
Oh yeah, he grayed quite early.
But I think he kind of wasn't his dad the same way.
No, I don't.
Thought he mentioned that his dad was gray.
Maybe. I remember his dad had white hair when I first met him, but yeah. Actually, they seem more blonde, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he went gray pretty early, which I don't care about gray. I have a little bit of gray in my beard, just in the goatee area. But it doesn't bother me.
Do you have gray in your chest hair?
No, I barely even have any chest hair.
Oh my God, I'm a woolly mammoth, dude.
Are you?
Yeah, it's horrible. Hate it.
Let me see.
Okay, here, I'll show you.
Ooh,
woolly mammoth,
damn,
brother.
Look at you. You are like a man. Holy shit.
I'm a man, baby.
Do you shave up here? Or is that
I
just
do right here, because I don't like if my shirt, I don't button my shirts up unless I'm wearing...
Well, it's because your gold chains get caught up in it.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's right. My gold toofuses. No, I don't like hair sticking up out of my shirt. I don't like people to see
like
that.
This?
Yeah,
and then it blows in the wind?
It's never a lot because it doesn't grow that high. But it might just be a few, and that bothers me. I do on occasion manscape the bod. Yeah, you don't have any hair at all. That's weird.
I do have a little tiny patch right there in the middle, which my girlfriend likes to play with.
Patches.
Yeah. But you can feel it, but you can't really see it because it's so light colored.
Yes.
The light has to hit it just right for you to even be able to see it.
It's like a
Same
vampire.
with my like underarm hair too. Like if I was to go like this quickly, like you would think like it's shaved, but it's not. It's just very light colored.
I wonder if we should just cut all this out of the show. Does anybody want to hear about our chest hair, our pit hair, or
But it's not gray. None of it's gray. So
yeah, I've got some gray.
I have a little bit in the beard,
there, brother.
And I think I have a couple of random ones throughout my head, maybe. But I don't give a shit about going gray. It doesn't bother me. I just care about going bald. Like, do you have a balding plan? There's two ways you can go bald. Like, you can go bald where it starts at the top.
And
it goes back.
Go ahead.
That way you lose it. Like, you look cool like Bruce Willis. Or you can start at the crown, and that's just awful. That sucks. Like, do you have a plan? Like, you're just going to bick it and be done? Or
what? I spent most of my years just shaving my head anyway, not bicking.
Yeah, I've done that too.
So I guess that'll just be the plan. But I noticed that, I started growing out my hair like a year and a half ago, I think. Because I was just noticed, like, man, I still got this full head of hair, and I see a lot of people my age kind of balding a lot. Mm-hmm. And I still got this full head of hair. Man, I got to take advantage of this. I just never really liked my hair, but I found a really good hairstylist. Well, I didn't find her. My wife found her. She's been cutting my wife's hair. She's been cutting all our hairs for a while. All our hairs. All of our hair.
They don't usually just do half.
And so I'm going to just keep rocking it until either I don't like it being completely gray or whatnot. Like, I'm actually like blow drying it now and using product and
wow,
I'm taking it to the nth. I've taken it to an nth degree I never have before. I'm actually trying to enjoy having hair right now because it's
good.
One of the few things I've got going for me in my 40s right now, as far as the whole looks department goes.
Are you going to grow it out any longer than that?
No, because I've had it cut multiple times. This is about as long as I like it. Any longer, and I just can't make it do stuff I need it to do. I just have bad hair days. Mm-hmm. I do actually. That's funny. I will have bad hair days. I will literally wake up, I'll shower, I'll blow dry it, and I can't make it do what I want it to freaking do. And it's annoying. I'll literally sometimes re-wet the whole thing, re-blow dry it. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. Yeah, these are definitely things I didn't worry about when I was 20. When I was 20-something,
I
just brushed it when I had it, and then I started shaving my head at like maybe 22.
Yeah, I did my hair a lot more like in my 20s, even especially in my 30s. I really started because I was single through a lot of my 30s. So, I did like the gel thing. I did. I used to have like this mohawk, then like a faux hawk, and then I used to do all that shit. And I still kind of do like I do like the out of bed hair. Which chicks seem to like it. Well, my girlfriend likes. I don't care what other chicks. Just my girlfriend. My girlfriend likes it.
Wow.
When I do it like up or whatever, like
backpedaling into
like that. Well, I'm not trying to backpedal.
I know.
I didn't want people to think that.
I did the faux hawk thing. I also looked at some pictures of myself where I was trying to grow it out once, maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. And I just looked like an angry lesbian. I don't know what was going on there. Why anybody was not telling me this. Really pisses me off that people were letting me walk around and look like this and thought that this was okay. Then I shaved it again for a while. This is the first time I've really liked my hair for a while. But of course now it'll be completely gray here, not too.
Gray is fine. Girls, you'll look distinguished. Remember, men age better than women. We look more distinguished, and where women just start to go down.
Dude, you know who has aged well? He still looks like freaking. That dude still looks like tough, man. Patrick Stewart. It's just something about him. He just ages. The older he gets, the better looking he gets. I'm like, this bastard.
Men get distinguished as they get older.
Some of them do. Some of them just look old as shit. Dude, you know who is not aging well, and he just looks. I don't know. Maybe there is something kind of wrong with him, so I don't want to pick. Chris Kattan is on or was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, well, he did go through like he'd broken his neck.
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah. All that makes sense now. Okay, because I was wondering. I was like, I heard something didn't seem right about him. But
Jimmy was telling me about it. He said that he looked weird, and then like he did find out that he did hurt his neck it was actually while he was performing somewhere. And he had to go through surgeries and stuff like that. So I guess he has trouble like kind of moving around a little bit. But.
Okay. All right. That makes a little bit more sense. I was like, man, something's up with him. But even his look, like he aged, not as Not as distinguished as some others.
I haven't seen him recently, but
yeah. I was
that's
like,
what I
whoa,
hear.
what happened to that guy? but you know, most men, you're right. They do age. They do just, man. But some women, they really hang on. I mean, we talked about Madonna. Like when I told you she was 58, you were like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, she's 58. Look at her. It's amazing.
That's
so
crazy.
You know who's starting to show the age a little bit there?
Who?
Jennifer Aniston, maybe? Did we mention this before when we talked about the people who look 40 versus not looking 40?
No, we haven't discussed that angle of it. But Jennifer Aniston,
for the first time, I'm seeing her age. It's starting to finally get her a
with
bit.
her. Yeah. Because like everybody else is starting to age and she seems timeless. And then
Just
now that she's almost 50, she might be 50 now.
Hey, don't get me wrong. 50? Oh my God. Like amazing. But it's the first time I didn't see her youthful looking. She's starting to look.
She could start to see a little bit.
She probably
of it.
looks 40, which she's 50, so that's amazing. You know?
Yeah. Like going with Courtney Cox, she looks. Plus, she had work done, which I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like. I always feel it's a mistake. They always look older. They never, but they all do it, man.
Only
Almost
because
all of them
it's
do
tied to older women to get that stuff done, so therefore it makes them look older.
Younger girls will do it in Hollywood. They'll go have work done like in their early 30s thinking this is going to help preserve them, and they end up looking bad. I will give you an example. I'm a Kim Kardashian fan. I think thought she was gorgeous. And then she had some work done a few years back, and she has never looked her same since. She just doesn't look right. It looks weird to me. She doesn't look old. She just doesn't look right. She should have never done it. She had no reason to. No reason to do it. Well, it was just dumb. I don't get it, but they talked them into doing these things ahead of time. To try to get them done early, because I guess they think this is going to help to do it early instead of waiting till you're old and wrinkled. Yeah, maybe, but you're ruining the time where you don't need to yet. I don't get it.
Well, as far as Kim Kardashian goes, like I never really thought she was. I was like, okay, she's attractive.
No, she's not your type. No. She's not a
it's
Tach
really
type.
about as far as
at
it
all.
went. Until that short time, maybe she still is. I don't know, but that short time where she went blonde, and I was scrolling past them, and I was like, who the hell is that? And I was like, oh, it's Kim Kardashian as a blonde. I'm like, huh. Interesting.
They've all tried to pull off that blonde look, and the only one who seems to do it successfully, this show's really getting going off the rails here, is Chloe. Chloe pulls off blonde really well. The rest of them need to stick with the dark hair. They're Armenian, so they just look odd blonde to me, except for Chloe.
This kind of reminds me of back when my mom was alive. She loved watching Keeping Up with Kardashians. She watched that show religiously, and there'd be times where me and her would be out to lunch or whatever, and she's like, so, Chloe got a new car, okay? And I'm like, and so she starts telling me these stories, and I'm like, who are we talking about? Like, I'm thinking it's like family or something like that. I'm like, who the hell is Chloe? Like, I'm thinking, oh God, is this a dream she had? Like, she thinks is her. And I was like, who are we talking about? It's like, the Kardashians. I was like, oh, I'm thinking you're talking about it as if they're our family, like I know these people. And Jason did this, and did you hear what Michael? I don't know the names of these people.
Scott Disick.
Okay,
here we give you Kim Kardashian. Well, Kim, Chloe, Courtney, and then you got the Jenners of Kylie and Kendall, and then you had Bruce, who is now Caitlyn, and you have
unfortunately I know the women
their mom
names,
Kris Jenner.
Right.
And Chris's boyfriend, I don't remember his name. He's really young. He's like 30-something. Chris is like 60-something. I don't remember his name. And then, of course, Kim is married to Kanye. And Courtney was married to Scott Disick, who should have his own show. He's pretty much the biggest reason I watch that show, because Scott Disick is hilarious. And they're divorced, though, but he's still in the show all the time. And Chloe doesn't ever seem to have like a very regular thing going on. And I have no idea if Kylie and Kendall date or who they date. I don't keep up with that. They don't really show it on the show, so therefore I don't keep up with it. I watch the show with my wife, obviously. I don't watch it by myself. I watch it with my wife, just so everybody knows.
That was a joke.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
You said with Kylie and Kendall, you don't really keep up with them. I was like, well, they're not Kardashians, so it's hard to keep up with them.
They're part of the Kardashian brand, if you will.
It's a joke. It's a play on words.
But I got you. I see what you're saying.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, that one went over my head. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Keeping up with
all
the
right,
Jenners.
it's time for a break, I think.
It's definitely break time. This show is...
I don't even remember what the topic was about.
This episode's
it was
out
the
of
40.
control.
That's right.
It was that horrible article I read that
no, it wasn't
had nothing to do
good.
with anything. So then we just started talking about chest hair and the Kardashians.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself, all right? You did good. You did good, kid.
All right, man. Why don't you take us to the break?
All right, well, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to lighten up the mood like we always do in our third segment. And we're going to talk about some 80s comedies, maybe, movies, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, and we will be right back.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is proud to sponsor Your 40 Now What podcast.
Tach and Ron from Your 40 Now What seem to have found a perfect sponsor. A pub with over 30 beers on tap, including ciders, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
You forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner, Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs. Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed the break. I know I did. Ron, did you?
Immensely.
Is this more cliche shit that you hate?
No, I enjoyed it. It was It was fucking fantastic. It was fan-fucking-tastic, that right there. I sat there and as usual, watched you vape.
At least I don't vape during the show like I've heard in some podcasts.
Oh, man, I've heard that in so many podcasts. And I guess if it was a podcast, I you know what, I would see it more in a video, some kind of video cast, a YouTube show. I can see people, vaping. It's just that kind of vibe. Everybody's chilling.
Gotcha.
But in a podcast where it's all audio, come on. Any other podcasters listen to this? Don't vape or smoke your bowl during the podcast.
Smoke your bowl.
I actually did an interview
I've never heard that
I did an
before.
interview one time, and when I was doing the Dolphins thing. So I interviewed somebody one time, and I couldn't believe it. Like, they were smoking out during this interview. Could clearly hear it. It's like, this is not a parody. I'm trying to do an interview here.
God.
Jesus.
You weren't interviewing a player, were you?
No, God, no, I wasn't. I have interviewed players, but in this case, it was not a player.
Right.
It was somebody,
All right,
a supposed writer. Anyway.
Okay. So in this segment, let's go back to nostalgia. I love the nostalgic topics. I love the 80s. Such a great time. And I think you're right. I've been thinking about it more and more. 80s music was like the best generation of music.
80s and early 90s to mid 90s.
Like, I think you were right, because before I was like, no, we like it because that's where we grew up. But no, dude, it was like, I listen to this 80s channel. Like, I love the 80s on iHeartRadio, or I Heart the 80s station they have on there.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. Like, every song, I'm just like, oh, hell yeah. After listening to it for like 8 or 9 hours at work, there may be one song where I'm just like, I kind of remember it. All the rest of them are all like hit after hit that you like know and love. Anywho. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about movies. Like, I watched a lot of movies as a kid, like over and over. Like I said, I spent that year in Spain where all I had was a VHS, VCR and VHS tape. So I was forced to watch movies over and over and over again. So I have tons that I loved and watched over and over and over again. What about yourself?
Yes, I would say, okay, this is stupid. I'm really going to give you some stupid stuff. Rocky was one of my ones.
You know what's kind of funny? I never saw Rocky till the very first time was like less than a year ago. Was the first time I ever saw Rocky. Yeah.
Oh, how is that possible? How did that movie escape you this whole time?
Because I don't know. I don't know. Like, I didn't know it was that great. And then a friend of mine, that's like her favorite movies are Rocky movies. And I told her I'd never seen them. She's like, you're out of your fucking mind.
That's crazy.
And then I kept hearing, then all of a sudden, since I'd never thought about Rocky for decades, and then as soon as she brings it up, I hear about Rocky everywhere I go. And so I was even watching Jimmy Fallon one night, and then somehow him and his guest started talking about Rocky, and they were like, oh, what a great fucking movie, and oh, the whole series is so... And I'm like, all right, maybe there is something to this Rocky movie.
Dude, Rocky is amazing, but...
Yeah, like, it's an interesting character for sure. Like, I was kind of impressed, because the character was interesting. I didn't know he was going to be like that. I want to say like multi-dimensional, but that's the whole point of his character, that he has no dimension, but because he's just like a dumb jock, but his character was just funny.
Yeah, and
just because I don't think he meant to be funny. Maybe he did.
I'd say, yeah, Sylvester Stallone, he is Rocky. Like, he created that character.
He wrote it.
He
right?
wrote the movie. Like, he is the only writing credit for that movie. People don't think about that. They think, oh, they just found some dumb jock to play this role. No. He is Rocky. He created the character. He wrote the entire movie, the entire script, just him.
Yeah.
You know, all the dialogue, all the everything. Like, he created it. He starred in it. He didn't direct it, but...
which is smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
but it was just like... it was perfect, man. He just perfectly nailed it. I would watch that movie over, and I would watch all the Rocky movies over and over again. Well, Rocky's 1 through 4. It goes off the rails after that, but Rocky 1 through 4 were just all phenomenal, man. Just absolutely phenomenal.
I haven't even seen them all yet. Like,
oh, what have you not seen yet, dude? I want to watch one with you for the first time. I'll hold you while we watch it. We'll jump up and down.
I only watched like maybe. You know what? I think maybe I only saw 1 and 2. Maybe.
So you saw 1 and 2. Oh, we got to watch 3, man. Clubber Lang.
But I don't remember
Russian
anything
and 4.
about 2.
What?
Wait, who was in number 2?
Number 2 was pretty much he.
Was that Mr. T?
No, that was 3. He fights in number 2. He fights Apollo Creed again.
Apollo Creed.
Carl Weathers.
Okay, yeah, I did see that one. Who's he fighting in the first one?
Apollo Creed.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the first one, Apollo Creed just opens a book and pulls his name out of a hat pretty much to fight this guy because he's an amateur. You know, the Italian stallion wants to fight an Italian guy on July 4th in Philly. You know,
part 2 is just like the rematch or whatever.
Exactly. He's, Apollo Creed wants a rematch. Rocky doesn't really want to do it because his eye got kind of busted up. Yo Adrian doesn't really want him to do it. They think it's a little dangerous. And then,
does she grow some balls in the second one?
She grows balls more in the third one. The third one is where she grows.
So she comes out of her shell a little bit.
She does the whole scene, the beach scene there. Yeah, that was the third one. Did you see the one with Clubber Lang with Mr. T?
You know what? I think maybe I only saw the first one.
Have you seen the Russian? The one with the Russian.
That's 4.
Yes. Right? Oh my god, dude! They're all so good. I love them all.
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh, okay. We're definitely got to say, if you watch 2 without me, okay. 3 or 4, one of those you need to save, and we'll watch it together.
All right.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you've never seen those before. I'm jealous, actually. I'm jealous that you've never seen. To go back again and watch it for the first time, that would be awesome. But as a kid, I would watch those movies over and over again, and I set up this little like plastic bag, and I would just be I put some golf balls in the bottom of it because I lived on right next to a range, so I was always collecting golf balls, and I would just sit there and punch the bag while he was punching Apollo or the Russian or whatever.
Background characters in a movie where you like fight as you're watching a fight.
Oh, I would do it. I seriously would. I would fight and punch my bag, and then I have
something similar.
I got my dad to get one of those kind of blow up things that you would punch and it would just come right back.
Yeah.
And I would beat the hell out of that thing while I was watching Rocky.
I would do something similar with the movie The Last Dragon.
I haven't seen that one.
What?
Yeah, this is like a Rocky moment. I've never seen The Last Dragon.
Have you heard of it?
Probably. Who's in it?
Oh my god, that's such an iconic 80s film.
And so was Rocky, motherfucker.
Yes, but all right.
Don't judge.
The Last Dragon was, I forget the dude's name, but he's like this, God, I can't remember his name, but it's so good. It's about these, it takes place like in Harlem, all right? And there's this one kid, the main character, he's...
oh, wait, is this the one, Who is the Master?
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen this movie. I just
So,
didn't
like,
realize it was
I was
called
really
Lost Track.
big
Yeah, I
into
watched that movie a bunch of times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I
okay.
forgot about it. I had totally, I guess I never really realized what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, Show Enough. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got
and so
you now.
that's how I was like with karate. I loved like karate as a kid. So I'm like 9, 10 years old watching this movie and like doing karate as I'm watching it, you know. So
See,
yeah, I love that movie. I watched it over and over and over again.
My over and over and over again karate movie, it's an obvious one. The Karate Kid, dude.
Karate Kid, hell yeah, dude.
Watch The Karate Kid all the time.
Yes.
And I even got, like, a few years back, it was on TV. And I didn't even tell my kids, hey, come watch this movie.
Yeah,
They just kind of came into it, maybe kind of towards the beginning, and they were instantly enthralled with this movie. And they just sat there and watched The Karate Kid. They loved it. They loved it. And
Yeah. My kids
I used
too.
to watch the second one here and there, but I don't think I owned the second one because I don't remember watching it very often. I think I would just catch it on TV here and there. But the first Karate Kid, I would watch that movie over and over. I will still sit down. That movie holds up. I will still sit down if it's on and watch The Karate Kid. That movie is phenomenal.
That movie
I love
does
it.
hold up absolutely. You know what's great about my kids too is I remember when I was a kid, my mom would say, "Hey, let's watch this old movie that I liked as a kid." And most of them, I'm just like, "Ugh, I don't want to see an old movie. It's stupid," you know. And then I would watch it and be like, "Whatever, it's a fucking old movie. Whatever, it is all right." My kids are complete opposite. Like if I say, "Hey, this is a movie from the '80s. You should check it out. I loved it as a kid. You might like it." They're like, "Okay, let's watch it." And they watch it and they're like, "That movie's fantastic. I can see why you loved it."
But what?
You know?
Give me an
And they were,
example.
like,
I did that recently too, and I'll go. But give me an example of a movie that you've done that with them.
Oh God! Like for instance, like one of my daughters, her favorite movie in the world is Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah,
like she loves that movie. She
Love
loves
that
all
movie.
those movies. We recently watched Harry and the Hendersons.
I'd seen
that
it
movie
before,
holds up,
but
too.
It wasn't one of my watch over and over again movies. As a kid,
I didn't
but-
watch it over. I watched it a bunch of times as a kid, but not one of those over and over and over ones. But that movie holds up too. Like the special effects on Harry, dude. Like it's special
On the
effects, not
Harry
visual
dude?
effects. Yeah, on the Harry.
So you're not talking about me, are you?
On Harry. It's fucking amazing. Like just all the animatronics of his face and just that was fucking brilliant. Where it still holds up to this day. If they did it in a movie today, they'd be like, "How the hell they do that?"
I don't think I've
So
seen that
good.
movie for like 25 years or something.
Oh, check it out. The movie holds up.
Okay.
It's still really. Plus, John Lithgow. Come on, you know
Yeah,
he's awesome in that movie. He's awesome in almost everything he does. But
yeah,
you
I
know.
like him.
Anyway, that's not one of my go-to. Like Goonies was another one I watched over and over.
Goonies
and over
was the
and
one
over
I was going to mention that I've introduced to my kids, and at first they were just kind of like, what? Treasure map? Let's watch this. And
Yeah.
they were not instantly enthralled with that. It took them a little bit of time. I think they were kind of like bored, and then all of a sudden I saw them like intently watching this movie. I'm like, dude, Goonies.
Yeah.
Because Goonies kind of takes you back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, the fort. So why did you create that fort? You were trying to create that kind of magical land area that didn't exist that you wanted to go to. So Goonies was actually kids getting to go to like caves and booby twaps and and things that you would never get to experience as a kid normally. Like Goonies brought you there. Like no other movie in this world probably. It might be the best kid adventure movie ever because it takes a group of kids and brings them on an adventure like none of us will ever go on in our lives, adult or child. It's just, that does not happen. But didn't you feel like you were a Goonie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you felt like you were a Goonie. You wanted to be there. You felt like you were there. You felt like you knew these guys. And I've heard so many times, multiple times about them making a sequel and trying to get everybody together for a sequel.
Yeah,
they can't get the guy who played Chunk.
Yeah, he's like an attorney or
corporate
something.
lawyer, owns his own law business,
Yeah.
and said he will not be joining. He won't be leaving it to go do the movie. But you never know. Money talks. Who knows if that's actually it could happen?
If he's an attorney, then money will get
They've
in
tried to do the whole. I don't know if it's ever going to happen or not. You know what I mean? If they're actually going to do that, because you got Brolin. So he's a big time actor now, but some of those people would probably be glad to go into it.
So it was like what's her name? Martha Plumpkin or whatever her name
Is
is.
it the blonde short hair girl? Yeah, okay.
Like
With
she's
the glasses?
still very active.
Oh yeah,
and
she's in all kinds of stuff.
She's great. She's had like 3 sitcoms now, and she's still going strong. And she's funny as hell. Like
I kind of get the feeling like she would still be down to do it.
Oh, definitely.
It's a major motion picture. I think like they can't seem they won't get Chunk likely, and I wonder if Brolin would do it unless they threw some money at him.
I think he would. I think he would.
know,
He's not,
I think that.
I mean, he's big, but he's not that big. Come on,
Yeah.
Sean Astin's still pretty big, and I know he's down.
I hate to call him the Asian kid. What do they call him? Short Round in Indiana Jones, in the Temple of Doom. Same kid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. Maybe I've seen him in a million things. I don't know it's him, but I think I looked him up on IMDb, and I don't think he does anything anymore. So don't know what he's.
Yeah,
up to.
I don't know what he's doing either. And then what was her name? Carrie Green, I think was her name, the redheaded girl.
I don't know. Not a clue.
I don't know what she's doing either. I guarantee the ones that we don't know where they're at, I bet you they've been on an episode of Law and Order. Seems like everybody goes on an episode of Law and Order.
Okay, so another movie, and I know you and I both watched this multiple times. And we watched it multiple times together. Back to the Future.
Fuck yeah!
Oh my god, I've watched that movie like 50 times. Star Wars is an obvious one. We all know we've watched Star Wars.
I wasn't even going to bring it up. But
yeah,
of course,
that we've all seen
Wars,
Star Wars a bunch of times. But Back to the Future was another one I would watch over and over and over and over again.
Yes, it was
the
a
second and
great
third
trilogy.
one I like as equally, but didn't watch them on repeat as much as the first one. But there was a big gap between the first and the second one, and then the second and third kind of came out back to back, pretty much.
Yeah, almost together.
Yeah,
almost.
they were one summer then the next summer. But Back to the Future, man, I would watch that over and over again because again, you could so relate to Marty. He was such a relatable character. You felt like you were on that adventure with him. It's like when you're a kid and you can put yourself in these characters.
Yes,
it just
I
makes
love
all
Back to
the
the
difference
Future.
in the world. And I think most of the movies we would watch over and over again as kids were because of that. Probably they were adventures that we would go on with these characters. And you can enjoy movies. I mean, I've enjoyed the absolute hell out of movies. Most of my favorite movies ever aren't my movies from the childhood. They're movies I've seen as an adult, but none of them take me on an adventure like Goonies, like Back to the Future. You know, they just don't.
Yeah. Another one, well, first of all, before I say the next one, I wanted to just touch on another one. Was like 16 Candles was another one that I'd seen over and over again.
Uh-huh.
Just because of the comedy aspect. I love John Hughes, and I think 16 Candles was just like a perfect John Hughes movie that me, my sister, and my mother like all enjoyed, that we watched over and over and over again. All three of us did. And but
I've seen it, but I never got into it. I just couldn't relate to it. I saw it young.
It's so funny.
I probably maybe I would have enjoyed it as a teenager, but I feel like I maybe saw it younger. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like 9, 10 when I first started watching it.
And I wasn't a huge Molly Ringwald fan. Now, Breakfast Club is a movie I've watched over and over. You had, referenced it earlier. It is a movie I watch over and over again. Me and my wife were even talking. We were watching. Funny we brought this up. We were actually watching Pitch Perfect last night.
Oh yeah.
And they reference that movie a lot. There's actually a lot.
Nice.
in that movie, in Pitch Perfect, and we were both talking about. Oh man, I love that Breakfast Club movie. It just. Again, you could.
It's good too.
It was like a different kind of adventure. It was a much more realistic adventure for that movie. You could see that really happening. Those group of guys in Saturday Detention.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
But you were about to mention another movie.
Yeah. So as far as like another adventure type movie that I watched over and over and over again, Ghostbusters.
Oh,
man.
hell
Ghostbusters.
yes. I can't believe I didn't even remember that. I watched that movie so many times.
Yeah.
You and I pretty much have that movie memorized word for word.
Yeah, definitely.
Most of these movies we're talking about, we do. But Ghostbusters in particular. Ghostbusters had so many good, quick, witty lines. And these weren't kids on an adventure, but they were people on an adventure, if you will, doing something that could never be done, and you felt like you were catching ghosts with them, man.
Yeah.
The second one kind of sucked, but I liked it as a kid. But I go back and watch it now, I'm like, ugh, what happened?
Yeah.
Did you see the third one?
The newest one with the women?
Yes.
With Kristen Wiig? Yeah, I saw it.
How was it?
I liked it. It's funny. It's entertaining. I didn't know it was going to be a complete reboot. I thought it was just going to be like a handing down, like to the to the new crew kind of a thing, but it's not. It's a complete reboot. Like it starts off like nobody knowing what Ghostbusters is, so they invent Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So but it does have like Ernie Hudson's in it. Bill Murray has a part in it.
But they're, I mean, what's their role? They're obviously, you know what I mean? Are they playing their same characters as if they were never Ghostbusters? That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's just chicks. It's bridesmaids, but with girls. I mean, with girls, but with ghosts. Which I like Kristen Wiig. I like all the chicks in it because they're funny chicks, and I think I don't know. I like it. I enjoyed it. I didn't dislike it. Some people give it a rash of shit, but I don't.
I haven't checked it out yet, so I'll reserve my opinion.
Was it Chris Hemsworth? Is that who it is?
Yes. He plays.
He's fucking funny as hell.
I don't know what he plays because
he's stupid as fuck, but it's so funny.
Nice. Is he kind of like the Rick Moranis of the group there?
If you had to, I guess, say that, which I don't know. He's just a moron. He's just like one of those beautiful people that has no brain whatsoever.
What is he doing there? Like, what is he there?
He plays the Annie Potts.
Oh, so he's Annie Potts. Okay, he's the secretary. Yeah. Yes, so of course like they're serious.
Yeah. And so he's just like a moron, and he only got hired because he's hot or whatever, And so,
I like
and
it.
just because he's pretty to look at, and just Kristen Wiig, I think, is the one that hired him, and they're just like, "Why? He's stupid." And he would be like, "The phone's ringing." Like, do you hear that? The phone's ringing. It's like, but then the phone's like in the fish tank, and he's like, "Why is the?" It's weird. It's so funny. It's so stupid. It's just a moron.
I'll have to check it out. I'll watch that one. I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Indiana Jones I liked a lot, especially Temple of Doom was one of the ones I watched over and over and over again.
Temple of Doom was the one I watched over and over and over again. In fact, I saw that one first and multiple times before I even knew there was a Raiders of the Lost Ark. I didn't or I'd heard of Raiders of the Lost Ark and had no idea it had anything to do with Indiana Jones. Till my dad said, there's a first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and I was like, it's all right. I actually enjoy it more now as an adult. I enjoy Raiders of the Lost Ark, but Temple of Doom,
I think it's a little more adult.
Dude, when he pulls his heart out, oh mum she bite, oh mum she bite, oh mum she bite. Kalima, Kalima. That was awesome. Those it was just those stones or whatever, and it was funny. Yeah. It was really funny, and there was adult. There was adult humor because it was an adult movie. There was adult humor I didn't pick up on as a kid. There was that sexual tension between him and her. That just went right over my head as a small child. We had that discussion that stuff just... I would never notice that stuff as a small kid. I was oblivious to it for whatever reason. You probably did, but I didn't notice.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, because there's a scene where they're very, very blatant with it. I'm trying to think what else. I know there's tons.
Dr. Jones.
You call him Dr. Jones, doll.
I'm sure there's. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's several others that I watched.
Oh, I'm sure
multiple times, and I'm gonna be mad that I forgot them.
Okay, here's one that they actually just did a reboot on, which I haven't seen yet. But Pete's Dragon. Like there was some Disney movies that I'd seen tons of times. A lot of people had never heard of some of these, but Pete's Dragon I watched a lot as a kid.
Never heard of it. I've heard of it now, but I hadn't heard of it as a kid.
You've never heard of Pete's Dragon?
At this point in my life, I have heard of Pete's Dragon. As a child, no. I had never heard of it, never saw it, didn't know it existed. Gotcha. I remember the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, that's not Disney, though. But
I don't care if it's Disney. What's that got to do with it?
Well, just that you compared the two.
I was comparing them as fantasy movies.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, as child fantasy movies, I guess.
I haven't seen the reboot they just did. I was going to wait till next weekend or this weekend when the kids are here because Randon mentioned that he wanted to watch it. So I'm interested in seeing the remake.
Now,
there was also a few other Disney movies that nobody's ever heard of that I've seen a billion times. And I hadn't seen it in years until recently. I came across the movie. Gross. Came across the movie again. And I was like, holy crap, I haven't seen this since I was a small kid. And then watching it was like, holy shit, like, it's still entertaining, only because of the nostalgia behind it.
So I'm cheating here, and I decided to pull up a list of some amazing 80s movies that you may have watched over and over again. Now, some of these might have brought you into a little bit older age. I know so I'm going to keep it young for a little bit. E.T. I've watched E.T.
Yeah.
Many, many, many times, and I'm going to admit, if I watch it from start to finish, every single time in the whole, when they set up that whole tent thing, because, they find E.T. and it's all tented out, and he's like, Elliot! Dude, I don't just, get a little tear. I have to leave the room and fucking bawl. I was laughing at myself the last time. I was sitting there watching it. Thank God no one else was there. I was sitting there watching it. I was crying. I mean, crying. And at the same time as crying, laughing my ass off at myself.
Yeah.
At the same exact time while I was bawling my eyes
awesome.
out, watching E.T. There is something about that scene. It gets me like nothing else. I don't know what it is.
What's kind of funny about E.T. is that, we recently watched that here, me and the kids, and my son had never seen it. And he didn't really want to have it. He didn't really care for it. He's like, whatever, E.T., man, I don't care. But me and my daughter wanted to watch it, and we wanted him to watch it. So he finally did anyway. He ended up loving it. But what's kind of funny is I was telling them, when this movie first came out in the theaters, which I saw that in theaters, Steven Spielberg did not release that on VHS for a good 7 years. If you remember,
I didn't even realize that.
The movie came out in 83 or something like that. That's when the movie came out.
Let me see. You know what? It tells me here. I'd scrolled down to some others. Let me look up real quick. 82. You were close.
82. So, and I don't think it even was available on VHS until 89, 88.
Oh, wow. That's a dick move.
And when it came
Steven.
out, it was $60 or something like that.
Oh, dude, movies back then when my dad bought, if I may just interrupt 2 seconds, when my dad bought Star Wars on VHS in 81 or 82 or whenever it came out, the original Star Wars, he paid $100.
That's probably how much you'd pay today for that same VHS right now.
In 35, we're talking 35 years ago, 30, you know what I'm saying? Or 36, whenever it was.
And I bet you it's still worth that
100
right
bones
now.
in the early 80s was a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
My dad paid $1,000 for his VCR. $1,000.
Your dad was really big on that.
Oh, yeah, he was. Way before you and I ever met. But continue on, sir.
Oh, so, and I was just telling them that story, it wasn't even released for 6-7 years later, and it was a huge release, when they finally put it on a VHS. And it was expensive, but people were paying it. I know we did when it first came out. And then, did you see when they put out a special edition or whatever? Steven Spielberg pulled a fucking George Lucas and put out a special edition probably 7 years ago or whatever that had new CGI footage in it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I don't know that I'd be interested in that.
It's terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
There's a new scene in it but it was all CGI. So instead of him being a puppet or whatever, you see this thing now where he's much more animated. He looks like Kermit the Frog when he's like,
Yeah, because Kermit the Frog was completely animated in CGI.
Well, you know what I mean. His arms flailed. And,
I understand.
It's it didn't fit. It was that looks terrible. It's so then when it was on Netflix, I was I didn't even want to watch it because I was it's going to have that new fucking CGI scene and it's going to be stupid. However, Netflix did not add in the CGI scene. It's the original version. And I was yes, thank you.
But Star Wars,
happy.
you almost can't find the original without the CGI stuff now.
You can't. That's why that's why George Lucas, if your dad still has that original theatrical version.
Yeah, the VCR. I think he does still have the one he paid the $100 for. I think he still has
He could probably sell it again for another $00.
It's VCR, though. It's not.
It doesn't matter.
That's not, wow. It's pretty.
People are wanting the original theatrical versions.
Yeah.
Because Steven Spielberg locked them up and isn't releasing them.
Yeah, that was dumb. I got another one for you, sir. And it's funny.
Yeah.
Many of the movies I'm watching through this list, and look what's on, as I put in best 80s movies. Look what came up. Breakfast Club. Goonies,
nice.
Ghostbusters, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future. This is literally in order. I'm we were just laying it off. Okay, so here's another one. Gremlins.
What? Yes! Oh
Gremlins,
my God!
Dude.
Yes!
Gremlins.
Holy shit! I watched that over and
my
over
daughter
and over again.
loves.
I don't think
Gremlins.
I've shown it to my kids yet. Well, my daughters may have seen it, but my son, I don't think he's seen it. But yeah, if it's on Netflix though, then I would love to show it to my son because I don't know if you've seen it though.
Gremlins. Yeah, I actually bought it on DVD.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
we've watched it
I
a few times. She loves it.
I wonder if I have it. I feel like maybe I did buy it a long time ago and forgot about it. I don't know.
Here's another one I used to watch a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have been because it terrified the shit out of me, but I watched it. This was another over and over and over again movie.
Yeah.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch. I didn't watch it over and over and over, but I watched it several times.
Now, this one I watched over and over again. Again, another one that terrified me. Shouldn't have been watching it as a small child, but I watched this movie over and over and over again. An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay. I was going to go with another one, Silver Bullet. That's the one I watched over and over again.
That was the werewolf one, right? That was a werewolf one.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it,
and
I didn't like dig it. It was okay though. Trying to think. I'm looking here. Okay, another movie. This was late '80s now that I watched over and over and over and over again. RoboCop.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I didn't see it over and over and over again, but I saw it several times as a kid. Sure.
Oh man, oh my God, you and I have skipped out on a movie, dude. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
All right, wait. Okay, go.
Weird Science.
Yeah.
How did we miss that one? Oh my
Hell
God,
yeah.
Weird
Definitely
Science.
a billion times.
Oh
yes.
God, that one was so awesome. So now here's a movie that it's in my top 5 movies ever, and it came out in the 80s, but I've done most of my multiple watching of it as an adult, but I've watched it probably 25 times. You may never even seen it. The Untouchables with Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro.
I haven't seen that one, no.
Oh my God, I just love. That movie has some amazing scenes in it. The acting in it is phenomenal. I believe Sean Connery won Best Supporting Actor for that movie. I'm fairly certain of it, and I think that's what led him to the Hunt for Red October role, which is another movie I've seen multiple times. But those aren't really kids' movies. I'm trying to think, is there any other kids' movies? Now, we've all watched, and I think that's just because it's on so much, we've all watched A Christmas Story. Like a million times.
Definitely, yeah.
And then I'm looking through this list. Another one I've watched a bunch of times, Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
My daughter really likes Roger Rabbit, and I think we're about to come to the end of the list. Oh, there's 16 Candles for you, buddy. Now here's another movie I watched multiple times, but it came out at the end of the 80s, and I really liked it. Watched it tons of times. Die Hard.
Yeah. I've seen it a lot, but not over and over and over again.
No, I've seen.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It's been a while. But what about Beverly Hills Cop? I used to watch that with my family all the time, like over and over and over.
I've seen that. That's definitely on my list of over and over and over and over again.
Now, there are ones in here that I know you probably may have watched multiple. Now, here's one for the girls that they watch. The girls, because the guys, there are a lot of these movies are probably guys watching these movies over and over again. I'm going to give one to the girls, or a couple to the girls. Dirty Dancing. Now I've seen that. I've seen it a few times. You've seen it what?
I've seen it a lot.
Have you seen it a lot? Okay.
Mostly due to my younger sister who watched it over and over and over in the summers. But I enjoyed it too. I thought it was funny. There was some good parts in it. But yeah, I haven't seen it since I was probably a teenager, but
yeah, I just don't get into it. I've seen it a few times. I don't get into it. My wife still loves it. Pretty in Pink. That kind of goes with the 16 Candles.
Yeah, I've never
seen it.
But you never seen it? Mm-mm. It's a good story. I didn't see it over and over and over again, but I've seen it a lot. Like I don't have it memorized. There's some scenes that I probably wouldn't remember the lines to, but there's some really great memorable scenes in it and a few good lines here and there. Mostly due to what's his head, Ducky, played by your boy from 3.5 Men.
2.5 Men. Yeah,
2.5 Men. Sorry,
what's his name?
John
something. I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to give you one that he
makes that movie.
I'm going to give you one that I think you and everyone around me like so much, and I hate it. I've watched it like once or twice. I hate it, and you're going to be mad at me that I hate it.
All right.
Princess Bride. I just hate that movie. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I don't enjoy watching it in the slightest, but everyone my age loves that movie. I hate it. I just hate it. If anytime I ever see it on, I just flip right through. I don't think it's funny. Why? I don't enjoy the characters. I don't even get the story, and I just don't care. I don't know what it is about it, dude. I'm very sorry. I apologize to everyone right now for insulting that movie. Let's see here. Now, let's get into another scary one. How much Nightmare on Elm Street did you watch as a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I watched that movie
Well, the
so
first
many
one,
times.
a lot, but the one I watched the most was part 3. I thought that was probably the best one.
Was that the one where they were all in like the psych ward? The kid, like yeah.
I think that was the best one. That was the most entertaining one. I think it had the one. I think it was the one that had the most comedy.
Had the hottest girl in it too.
Who was that?
I don't know. I just know. I remember her being hot.
A kid.
I just remember her being the hottest girl. Didn't the first one have Johnny Depp?
Yeah,
that's funny.
He had a small role in it, but
yeah, that's awesome. So, I could probably go to another list and find a few others. There's some others in here. They mentioned like, oh wait, Footloose. How much Footloose did you watch as a kid?
Yeah, I watched that a lot. It was a lot. Same with my Summers, my sisters. They really liked it a lot, so I've seen it a lot.
Was that more of a girl movie? Because for me, I watched it multiple times. I always really liked it.
I think it was more of I don't think it matters really, but I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, I watched that movie multiple times with my cousin. My older cousin was like my older sister. I'm going to just quickly go to another list to see if there... were you a big Adventures in Babysitting guy? Because I really wasn't.
Yeah.
I watched it a few times, but I know a lot more people.
I saw that in the theaters, and I'd seen it a lot afterwards, too.
Now, here's one that I would watch multiple times on TV. It was always on TV. Beastmaster.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Didn't we talk about Beastmaster already once on the show?
I don't know. We might.
We were talking about nudity, and then you were like, "There was nudity."
Oh yeah, I didn't know there was nudity, and that's right. You mentioned that. Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The Burbs. I think that's more you. Yeah. That's 89. That's barely 90.
That's Tom Hanks and Corey Feldman. I didn't see it tons of times, but it's good. For an 80s movie.
Let's see here. I see a lot of the repeats in this list. Escape from New York. My dad would watch that all the time, and I would kind of watch it with him.
Never got into it.
Yeah, I didn't get it big into it.
It's Kurt Russell, and
it's one of the kind of the original dystopian type movies, like a you know what I mean? It kind of helped launch.
It's like an apocalyptic type.
What about
thing.
the Nightmare? Not the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. The Friday night.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th movies. Or the Halloween movies with Mike Myers.
Never really got into
them. See, I never was... I liked Nightmare on Elm Street. I was never big into Friday the 13th.
But I think they just blend together. I hadn't even seen... Until about maybe 6 years ago is when I finally saw Hellraiser. Because my roommate at the time, she was like, "You haven't seen Hellraiser?"
Yeah, that movie was scary.
And so we watched all of them back to back. And they all run together now because I saw all of them within a 2-day period. So.
I tried to do that with Harry Potter originally, and I had to start back over a few years later and watch them slowly. Because I tried to sit there and just power watch all the Harry Potter movies, and by movie 5, I was just like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm so lost.
Yeah. The Harry Potter movies are good. I'd read the books, or first 4 or 5 books before the first movie even came out. So that was exciting for me at first. And then I started watching movies where I hadn't even read the books too. But it's a good story. They're great movies. They're well done. I mean, they really captured the vision of the movie of the books. Because I would see something as I'm reading it, and then when you see it on the screen, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly how I pictured it. But there's some scenes and they're just really boring, and they just kind of draw out, and you're just like, ugh, let's get through this, get to the story, So that's my only downfall about the Harry Potter movies. Is some scenes just are too dull and drag on too long.
I understand, sir.
Kind of like this segment.
Maybe. I got a couple left. Secrets to My Success, or Secret to My Success.
Secret to My Success. Yeah. I've seen that tons of times.
Yeah, that was in a
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Yes, that's not even on this list. How could they have forgotten that?
I don't know.
I didn't realize how many.
I forgot.
How could I forget?
Inner Space.
I totally forgot about Teen Wolf. That was one I watched multiple times, over again.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, God, I totally forgot about that. Let's see. Was there any... Three Amigos was one more you and Jimmy were into.
Yeah,
I never really got into that movie.
What?
Yeah, I just didn't. And I think it's too late now.
It's a great movie.
What about Stand By Me?
Yes. Oh, my God. That's
another one. You know what? I'll be honest. I've never seen Stand By Me from start to finish.
Shut the front door.
I've seen bits and pieces, of course, but I've never seen it.
That movie is
from start to finish
good. That's in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. It's Frank Darabont, man. He is such... Well, not Frank Darabont. I'm sorry. That was Rob Reiner who did that movie. So good, man. That movie is so good. It's just it's a great coming of age tale, and it's just got amazing acting in it. I don't know. It's so good, dude.
How did we miss Revenge of the Nerds?
I don't know, but that's a great one.
God, there was so many great movies. Are there that?
And even like
a recent
2
times,
and 3, like
are there kids right now watching current movies that are going to just take them? They're going to be able to do a podcast in 20 years talking about all these great movies. Are there enough great movies right now? Are they going to be talking about Marvel and Potter and the new Star Wars? I guess that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
there must be. There must be more. You know what?
But I don't think there's that
Pitch Perfect, High School Musical. That's all their stuff now. Passed us
yeah, but
by.
I don't think movies nowadays are maybe not movies so much as like we watch movies over and over again. I don't think kids do that now anymore.
Yeah, you're right, because they have, again, we go back to the whole
anymore.
technology, and they have so many more things to watch and entertain them, and their attention spans are shorter. It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like access.
Like even myself, like within say in the past 10 years, there hasn't been a movie that I watched over and over and over again. All my over and over and over again movies are from like childhood.
See, I have movies that I'd love to watch over and over again, but I haven't gotten to. There's some more. Now, this is a little. I mean, it's 20 years old or so. Pulp Fiction. I've watched that multiple times.
Yeah, I've seen it tons.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It may be my top movie ever.
Really, even before Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption, I've watched multiple times. Another one of my very favorite
top
movies.
5
That was
greatest movies
did you know that was
ever
a
made.
Stephen King story, right? A short story.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was thinking because that's Frank Darabont, but that's why it confused me with Stand By Me, because Stand By Me also
Stephen King short story, I believe. I know it's Stephen King. I just wasn't sure it was short story or not. I'm trying to think what else I've watched recently that I can watch. Oh, yeah, okay. Some recent movies that I have watched, probably this movie. I've probably watched it 20 or 25 times. Ocean's 11. I absolutely, positively cannot get enough of that movie. Love it.
Now, what about the other ones? Is it just specifically the first one?
Oh, 12 and 13. I've watched them. They're entertaining. They are not as good as Ocean's 11. The one with
heist movies are always good. So
usually they are. Like the Italian Job's another one that's pretty good.
I love the Italian Job.
Specifically Ocean's 11. It's perfect. It's in Vegas. I love anything themed Vegas. That gets me.
Oh, okay.
I love Andy Garcia. I love George Clooney. I love Matt Damon. I love Brad Pitt. Like everybody in it, so good. Julia Roberts is awesome. It's just got such a good cast, and it's
Speaking of Brad
perfectly
Pitt, like
well
Seven.
written. What?
Seven's a great movie to watch.
I've never seen it.
Okay, you got homework to do. You have to watch Seven and Stand By Me.
Okay, Seven and Stand By Me.
If you appreciate good movies like that are just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Brad Pitt, you got Morgan Freeman, and you have Kevin Spacey, dude.
Seven.
Holy
I'm writing
shit.
I'm writing it down. Write it down. Stand
Write it
by.
down.
Oh, Muppets Take Manhattan.
Manhattan.
That's another one that we watched over and over again as a kid. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny how we said that line and then we both said it at the same time. Because so anybody who doesn't have that movie memorized, which was probably only you and I and Jim Henson, who's dead.
People's is people's.
People's is people's. Is people's working? Is water boiling? Is come. People's is people's. People are right now. They're tuning this out, dude. They're like, okay, enough with the movies. Yeah. All right, I could probably sit here and still dig for movies, but I'm done. I think we've beat this up to death.
Yeah, let's.
But anybody
let's
that
stop
was
here.
I think that anybody was listening and they're around our age. We're feeling like these were some of their movies, and they probably could add in some movies too. Stuff we either didn't think about or stuff we just weren't into that they were.
So, which brings us to the call of action. If there's something that we didn't think of, let us know. Email us at your40nowwhat@gmail.com.
Yeah, or tweet us at your40nowwhat. Somebody tweeted something about from an episode a few weeks back. They talked about. I guess we were talking about the few channels of TV we had to watch. And they told the story. It was a little bit more sad about how they had 2 channels and they had to use a pair of pliers to change it, and they had the rabbit ears. I was like, So I think his name was Bill. Yes, it was Bill. Hi, Bill.
Cool. Well, thanks, Bill. Hope you enjoy the show.
All right.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up and get out of here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. We'll just follow up
It's
a little bit
episode,
more.
Dude.
Yeah, it was
Like
again. We were talking about that compression thing. It's in the before the show started about the.
I need to do better with my file compression.
We might have to figure that out. There, we're gonna have 3 shows a month.
That's why the last episode came out so late.
So just chill.
My apologies.
To the next episode. But we want you to chill to the next episode. Listen to Snoop Dogg. He makes sense in this case. I want you to chill
Especially
to the next
Doggy
episode.
Style album. That album is so good.
It's a real deal Holyfield. I could keep going. Okay, I won't though. Make sure you go to iTunes.
Yes.
And not just
Subscribe,
listen to
rate,
us,
review.
but you subscribe, rate, and review the show. Only if you have good things to say. You know what? You can say anything you want. Just give us 5 stars. You can call us assholes if you want. It doesn't matter. But the 5 stars is really what we're looking for. Say what you want.
Yes.
And also on Facebook, it's You're 40 Now What? Or is it Facebook / You're 40 Now What, I assume? And it's the 4040, not spelled out. FORTE 40. I'm just kidding.
all of our social media is the numbers 40. So.
Yeah, roger that. And Twitter, You're 40 Now What? Mention that. Email, You're 40 Now What? gmail.com. Mention that as well. All the places you could message out and ask us questions, or you could throw out topics. What have you, sir? Anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you got going with the other pods, or any stuff you're plugging right now?
Well, I recently just did an event for the Village Idiot Pub, and their the Village's Lost Idiot Again 5K run for charity. We just did that over the weekend. It was really good, really good. Turned out lots of people. Got probably some new sponsors out of it, and also some new events coming up. I know You're 40 Now What is a part of that Dichotomy Media, but
yes,
we're not so much a part of that event. We weren't, but maybe next year. Definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
All right, man.
All right. Well, for 40, you're 40 Now What? I'm Tach.
I'm Ron.
And we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Bye now. If we can compress the file, or maybe it'll be 3 months. Shit. Just kidding. All right. See everybody later.
See ya. It is now as it was when I was in my 20s.
Yeah,
so,
good point.
Like I loved like music production and I loved like filmmaking, but it wasn't as accessible and easily done and well done back when we were in our 20s as it is now.
Well, did you experiment with any of it back then?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't recall you even making a mention of being interested in that. You didn't invite me to any of your movie production when you were 20 something.
Well, it was mostly when I was in the Navy. Like, there was one like in the late 90s, me and my friends, when I was in the Navy, we wanted to shoot this movie. And we're like, and all I had was, remember back in the day, those old video cameras that had the VHS tape inside.
Yeah, I still have
That's all
one
I had.
around the house somewhere.
Yeah. And I was like, we're going to shoot a movie with this thing. And then, as far as editing goes, like we'd have to have 2 VCRs side by side, and like one being the master film, and then you pick take or whatever your clip, and then you'd have to record it over to the other one. That's how it would have had to been done, which we never ended up shooting it, but we talked about it. We got the good story out. We had, and then as far as doing audio, I was gonna buy a microphone because it had a microphone plug-in into the camera and get it like on a boom and all that. It would have looked like shit and horrible, but it would have been my first movie, but I never got it done.
But since
now
then,
technology is so much better,
right? I mean, since then you've made some movies, some short films, or some commercials. You're doing the cartoon thing right now, so you definitely are following through. Is that also probably, in your opinion, we follow through more on our hobbies as we get older than we did when we were 20? They were more just pipe dreams, and then as we get older, we figure out ways to make them happen. Plus, like you said, technology does as well.
Yeah, it's mostly, I think, has to do with technology. At least me specifically, technology has gotten so much better, and this is a great time to be into like filmmaking and any kind of creative content. And that's what we draped blankets over top of, and then we had blankets on the ground, and like we even like spent the night out there. I found like old pictures of us like doing that and stuff back then. It was awesome.
That's cool. It was awesome, man. Just building forts. We're building. Used to try and build like. I take some string, some of this, some of that, and try and build like a mouse trap. Not that we even had mice at my house or anything, but I would try to build like a mouse trap, or try and build something that would, have a reaction where this would do this, would do this, and you'd have it all crazy in your head, but what you would build would be total shit. It was fun anyway.
listening to Your 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Well, welcome to Your 40, Now What? I'm one of your hosts. My name is Tach.
I'm Ron.
And this is episode number 7, I think. I'm turning into Adam slowly. Welcome to episode 7. So, if this is your first time listening to us, what we do is we're 41-year-olds and we talk about the trials and tribulations and the lighter side of being in your 40s.
Yes.
So with that, we have a few topics to discuss today. I believe our first topic, I'd like to talk about some hobbies.
Hobbies. Yes.
Hobbies.
Yes.
Yes, quite.
Very good.
So, okay, we had hobbies written down. I think you brought that topic to the show, yeah?
I did. You know what I miss about being a kid?
What's that?
Building forts.
Oh, dude.
I don't even necessarily mean like going out with like saws and hammers because I didn't do any of that.
No.
Well, at your house, you'd take chairs, you'd take blankets,
Yeah.
build forts. Maybe you'd go
the
outside
couch
and try and
cushions were the
find some wood, something in the woods there, and try and build some kind of makeshift fort. But the forts you build at your house were the best.
You're talking about inside or outside?
The inside,
outside.
no, the inside house.
The inside ones,
forts
yeah.
with blankets
because
and
you
chairs
use like
and all that.
You use the couch cushions? Dude, those are some sturdy shits.
I did it a little bit when my kids were young too. I would help them build forts, and I'd be so excited to build this fort.
Nice, yeah. It's kind of funny, like our mutual friend Jimmy, me and him had built a fort on the side of his house outside. We found like this wood, and we found a piece of plywood, and we also found like this, I don't know, like a steel rod or something. Anyway, we stuck it in the ground, and then I think it was part of a frame. So we had it coming off the house, and so the plywood was the roof. Okay, so we had this roof, and it was sturdy enough for us to stand on top of. That's how strong it was. And then we made like walls and everything, and then it was even on the side of the house where a spigot was. So we had like running water, and we dug like a small hole and put a trash bag in it, so we had a sink. And what we used it for, I have no idea. I don't know. And that's where we remember I referred to earlier, we had found that Playboy magazine in the woods.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Your Playboy magazine.
In our little fort, we had hung up pictures out of the Playboy on the walls and there and everything.
Looked like a construction site or something.
Yeah. But you know, like me and my younger sister, we used to in the summers at my dad's. We used to outside. We used like not that they used a clothesline, but there was a clothing line outside. And invited over to talk about Herbalife or to talk about some other get rich pyramid. Like, come join us and be a distributor, and I make this much if you sign on, kind of crap. And I'm just like, no,
it's not pyramid. It's multi-level marketing. Ass. I'm just kidding.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same
people,
thing.
And then it's like one person on
it's
top.
It's not the same thing.
Pyramid doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
It does. Actually, pyramid does mean it's bad. That's why it's not the same thing. But anyway, I don't do those things anymore. This is not a commercial for Amway, I promise you. One of Amway is another one I did a couple times. But yeah, I'd say there was a lot of that. Probably now that I think about it, that if I took away video games and working, probably get rich quick schemes was my main hobby in my 20s.
Well, like you said, you don't know if like video games is a hobby. I say the definition of a hobby to me is something that you enjoy and costs money.
That's a good
to me
point.
Is a hobby.
Yeah,
so like hooking up with chicks, not a hobby. Getting a prostitute, it's a hobby.
Getting because it costs money. And you enjoy it. Very good. I see where you're going.
Not that I have any experience, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, guitar playing seemed to be a very common hobby surfing, things like that seemed to be common hobbies for people when we were in our 20s. I knew a lot of people that surfed a lot then, and
our geographical area.
People would be into cars. They'd souping up their cars. That would be, somebody's hobby.
I never got into that.
Most of those things, when you get into your 40s, aren't your hobbies anymore. What are more common hobbies podcasting for us, obviously.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's definitely our age is podcasting.
I think our hobbies become less activity and more creation as we get older.
I've always been huge into creating, but the ability to create wasn't as easy. Now, what did you mean by how? You mean like kid hobbies versus today's hobbies? Is that what it was?
I was thinking more of hobbies when we were young adults.
Oh, okay.
Like what we did to pass the time, what we were into versus the things that we get into now. And as guys, most guys anyway, we jump from thing to thing to thing. This is what I think most guys seem to do.
I have too many hobbies,
you're
for
into
sure.
that, then you're into this, then maybe even go back to that. It's just all this kind of progression through your adulthood of your hobbies. Because when you're a small kid, the hobbies are pretty much whatever you have access to or whatever toys your parents got you.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have the freedom of choice, but you get older, and all of a sudden you have freedom of choice to go do this, that, or the other.
Yeah, if you talk about hobbies we had in our 20s, I mean, does going to the titty bar count?
Dude, I was literally thinking going to that. I think what that was time we were spending that we could have been doing perhaps hobbies, even productive hobbies. We could have been the first ever podcasters if we hadn't been going to the strip club.
I feel that in your 20s is probably the time in your life where you're not doing as many hobbies. You're doing more of like going out and experiencing life for the first time on your own. I think hobbies kind of get pushed to the side. I think, at least that's how I think it was for me. I still, like back then, I still did a lot of guitar playing and stuff like that. Like that was probably my main hobby through my 20s was playing music and all that. What about you?
That's the thing. I didn't have a lot of hobbies I definitely played a lot more video games.
Yeah.
I'd almost say that. I mean, I don't know if you consider video games a hobby.
Yeah, of course it is.
I always had this thing in my 20s and maybe even early 30s. I was always trying these get-rich-quick schemes.
Oh, yeah.
You're
one of those friends.
I was one of those, man, for a while.
This other couple I know,
I let it.
They're always got some new scheme coming up. And I'm always getting